We're a little pressed for time today, but I do hope to have a new interview tonight, along with Forgotten Millennials on his channel with Jose Nino, probably about 7 Eastern time. I'm going to try to set it up as best I can. So, the pro-life versus pro-choice debate, abortion and all that, it's been something that's really changed in the past couple years. And I think that there have been several inflection points that I can remember. Back in the 90s, of course, there was a huge movement to overturn Roe versus Wade. And the Democrats and pro-choice advocates said that, well, abortion needs to remain safe, legal, and rare. And that was a winning slogan for a long time. Then I believe in 2012, there was a lot of backlash towards the pro-life people because there was a candidate in Missouri named Todd Akin who decided he actually made this slip of the tongue on a radio show where he said that abortion in cases of rape and incest should only be taken if it's cases of, quote, legitimate rape, where you could prove that the act was for sure a rape. And of course, that would be well nigh impossible because how long does it take to convict or find somebody liable for raping someone else? So this from the Washington Examiner, and I think we've reached a new peak inflection point. So on CNN, they have this woman named Christine Quinn who said, when a woman is pregnant, that is not a human being inside of her. So this is now the pendulum swinging all the way the other way. Because a lot of people would now say, even people who are pro-choice, that we can't get into this area where now we don't acknowledge that the aborted thing is a human being. A lot of times people use the word fetus, and fetus is a medical term for, of course, the infant inside the womb. But at a certain point, you start to realize that the people who are claiming that they're trying to defend a woman's right to choose, what they're really defending is the procedure. They're not necessarily defending the people that may choose to take the procedure. You probably saw in the past couple of days. I didn't make a video about it, but I saw it all over the place. I just didn't have time. The legislator from Pennsylvania, Brian Sims, who claimed that he was standing up for women's rights by berating a bunch of protesters at a Planned Parenthood in Philadelphia. And he actually said, yeah, how many kids have you fed today? How many kids have you clothed and fed? And he tried to dox a bunch of the protesters, some of which I guess were underage. They might have been, only 14 or 15 years old. So he got a lot of backlash over that, and he issued a mealy-mouthed apology for it. Now you have Christine Quinn here.
And horrible tales. I answered it numerous times. When a woman gets pregnant, that is not a human being inside of her. It's part of her body. And this is about a woman having full agency and control of her body and making decisions about her body and what is part of her body with medical professionals. Those are the facts, and that is the law of the land.
Listen,
and they can do whatever they want to that.
This is about a woman's
so they
body.
can name the baby.
Listen, you can
they can do whatever they want. They can torture the baby.
The debate is fine.
You're
is fine.
so
Guys, I gotta leave it
desperate
there.
here. You're so desperate here.
No, listen.
You're bringing up fake
I'm just
stories.
asking questions.
No, you're not. You're asking provocative things that are trying to make
Because
people angry
they're real.
about what's done, and
But
that's
they're not
okay.
real.
All I'm saying is, you guys go too far when you pervert the facts, and we have the President of the United States saying that a baby is born at the end of full term, swaddled in a blanket, and then to decide whether or not to execute it.
That's
That's
the law.
BS. It divides people. Nobody said it. It's not the law
Governor
anywhere in
Virginia
this country.
said
it.
It's
Nowhere.
homicide. One person.
So this is Cuomo basically covering up for Governor Northam in Virginia. That was a proposed law. Okay, yes, it's not a law now, but it was a proposed law only a couple months ago. And for Cuomo and Chris Quinn to try to smother this discussion by saying, well, it's not really something that's happening. Well, you're getting to the point where it will happen. You're getting to the point where some states will probably allow this to happen. And in fact, the state where Cuomo's brother is the governor is essentially allowing abortion up to delivery. So the idea here is that the pro-choice people, they are basically losing their bearings and going all out in favor of the abortion industry. I don't think that you have to be pro-life and necessarily stand out front of an abortion clinic and yell at the people coming in. And I don't think you have to be pro-choice and try to legitimize literally any abortion at any time, even beyond delivery, which is what they were talking about in Virginia, the legislature.
Said something stupid, and you want to make it something that you can use for advantage. That doesn't help your cause.
Talk to the survivors of abortion.
How about Kermit
Gosnell
it's certainly not square with your religion.
Lots of instances.
I'll tell you that. Go ask a priest if he's okay with you arguing the case that way, and see how he feels about it.
I'd be happy to.
If you get to the right place by lying and distorting the facts, no priest is going to like that.
No priest is going to condone lying.
What did I lie about in the way I presented
You tell me what
case?
state allows you to swaddle a full-term baby and then have a side conversation about whether or not to kill it.
Look, you have
say
states
none.
that basically
say none.
No.
Say none.
No. The state of New York allows a baby to be killed. Allows a baby to be killed
a full-term baby to be born and swaddled and executed.
The moment that baby is born.
Say none.
That's the reality.
That's crap.
Chris, that's what
the law says.
I was part of passing that law in New York with the National Institute of Reproductive Health. It does not say that, but that is a lie the far right has
Rick, you're better than this.
Since it was passed.
You're better than this as a Catholic, and you're better than this as a consumer of public thought.
It's not a lie, because,
it
look,
is.
So you have Cuomo going. Rick Santorum is a really like hardcore Catholic. The guy to the right, he's the former senator from Pennsylvania. He was also a presidential candidate, and believe it or not, I was shocked. He won a number of the primaries in 2012. So you have him essentially presenting his point of view, and I don't know why he didn't bring up the Virginia proposed law. But yeah, in New York, you can abort a baby up to full term, which is, in my opinion, that's already barbaric enough. In Virginia, they were going to pass a law. The Democrats were proposing a law that would allow the doctors to abort a child after being born. And you have here Chris Quinn and Chris Cuomo are trying to lecture Santorum on being a proper Catholic, because you have three people who are from Catholic backgrounds up on the screen: Cuomo, Santorum, and Quinn. And two of them are trying to shame the other one by claiming that you're not being truthful. That's the real sin, not the part where you actually support abortion, which is against Catholic doctrine. I'm not Catholic at all, and I happen to be against abortion.
It's a lie. I helped pass the law.
I gotta go. We'll do this again because there are going to be plenty more of these. But come on, Rick, give me a break on this stuff.
I am. I'm telling the truth.
You're lying.
You're telling the truth the way you see it, but you're distorting fact to get there. So I don't know how that's the truth. I respect everybody's opinion on it. But this idea that you're putting out, the president telling the crowd and they're booing.
So this happened a while ago. I don't know why they're bringing it up again. Christine Quinn, by the way, she's the one who said that a baby with. Let's hear it again.
Tales. I answered it numerous times. When a woman gets pregnant, that is not a human being.
So this is basic denial of fact. Okay, when you have any sort of any sort of infant or embryo within the womb of the parent, whether it's a human, whether it's an animal, that's not a fully formed entity. It's still something, okay? I was thinking about it when I heard of this story. And it used to be that when you would hear stories about the atrocities of wars, whether it was in World War II or Vietnam or any time, you would hear the biggest issue, the worst atrocity people would talk about would be when a soldier bayoneted the womb of a pregnant woman. And from, if you read through ancient history and, up till, of course, through the Middle Ages and everything, and probably up until now, one of the reasons that soldiers would essentially kill the pregnant women was because they didn't necessarily have any use for them. As prisoners, they actually don't really help you. They're, a pregnant woman just isn't able to travel as easily as another woman. And of course, there were other ways that these soldiers would exploit the women. They would use them often as sex slaves and stuff like that. And it was basically an added atrocity what they would do to pregnant women. And what is, so the question is the atrocity because the woman is pregnant, or is the atrocity because you have a young life within the womb in addition to abusing the woman? That's the real question here. And in my mind, I think it's you have to take into account that there is a potential of human life in the womb. There was already a story in New York State, I think it was even in the city, where a man killed I believe he killed his girlfriend, his pregnant girlfriend, and he was only charged for one murder. Okay, it used to be that you would be charged for two murders. I believe that the degree was different between the two, but what we're talking about now is essentially redefining the idea of what a human is. And it's for political purposes. It has nothing to do with real philosophical underpinnings of it. It's simply in order to facilitate a procedure that people think it's too important to limit. And I don't really believe in that. I think that that's unethical. It's unethical if you believe that doctors and other medical professionals, nurses, people who are trauma care staff and stuff like that, they should treat both the parent, the mother, and the child. Okay, I don't believe that you should exclude one because the other one has this right to choose, or that they take precedence. Now, of course, if for example a pregnant woman is in a car accident, I would say that you do take precedence in saving the life of the parent, of the mother. But that's a different issue. That's not an elective procedure. That's something that's an emergency. It's an accident. That is something that, in fact, you could argue you're actually going and saving the life of one, regardless of what her choice is. So the woman's right to choose doesn't even come into perspective there. Okay. What if the woman was to say, they know that their child is dying? Okay, I know this for some people this might be kind of a macabre example, but they know that their child that the child in their womb is dying, but they can still live. What if the woman cries out, "Don't save me! I don't want to live without the child"? Don't you think that the physician or the EMT or the nurse, do you think that they're supposed to pull the plug? That's the right to choose too. That's the right to choose. If you believe so much in the right to choose, you believe that in that case, the physician should allow the woman to die. I think that this is really ridiculous. It's disgusting. And we have to really start to put into perspective what the pro-choice and pro-life perspectives are, because I'm starting to really believe that this pro-choice movement is about the abortion industry. It's not about the women who might want to use the abortion facilities. That's about it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also subscribe to me on Minds and on BitChute. You can find me on both of those at Chef Leopard, and on Gab at Starscream85. I'll talk to you later.